Thanks for joining us here at JCurve Solutions for a quick look at how NetSuite can help furniture business streamline their operations. Today we'll be focusing how Suite Success is the perfect place for your company to start and to automate and streamline your business. Hopefully giving you the guys the time to focus on what really matters and putting the right information at your fingertips so you can make the right choices. Suite Success is designed, Suite Success is the platform that we'll be looking at, and it is designed to get you up and running really quickly. We get many of our customers up and running on Suite Success in as little as 45 days. Now, just quickly, I'm Nigel. I'm one of the business development managers here at JCurve Solutions, and I'm joined by Mandy, who is our most experienced solution architect. And Mandy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Nigel?
Very well. So, just so you know, JCurve Solutions, we are from JCurve. JCurve Solutions is the largest NetSuite provider in the world. We have more customers than any other NetSuite partner globally. And with that comes a wealth of experience, particularly in the furniture vertical. So a lot of our customers are in that furniture vertical, and we've just learned so much from them and dealing with them and some of the different things that they've had to do. So you can see there just some of the furniture customers that we've got showing. God, it's given us so much knowledge about your businesses and how we can potentially help you guys. Now, there are some really common challenges that these guys have faced, and we'll talk about them as we go through. But Mandy, have you found any real common challenges that these guys have faced that we're just dealing with over and over again?
Yeah, I think some of the most common challenge these guys faced was just around stock and knowing what, when, and how much to order. Where is the stock, how to deal with items that comes in different sizes or have variable components. And I think shipping is always a fun topic as well.
Shipping is fun, and I'm not sure how much of shipping that we'll talk about, but I think, like I said, at the end of this, please put your hand up, let us know, and we can do a more tailored demonstration around you guys, because things like shipping can be quite complex and require quite a lot of work to make sure we get it right for you. So Mandy, if you'd like to share your screen, that would be fantastic. I'll just stop sharing mine. I'm just going to show the agenda quickly for people to see the agenda there. Look, really what we're going to do there is just give you a real generic overview of what NetSuite looks like and how it feels. And then we're going to get into the imagery and the financials part and how those two marry up so that you can really hone in on your business and make those right choices and get the information you need at your fingertips, like where is my stock and what's coming in and so forth. So we'll talk a lot about that. We'll talk about gaining control and putting you in control of your business so you know what to do and how to do it and what's going to happen next, and any roadblocks that you're facing, hopefully they'll show up in this as well. So I'll just stop sharing my screen. And Mandy, if you'd like to bring yours up. So you'll notice that Mandy has opened up on just the netsuite.com page, right? So I suppose what I want you to get from this is you don't need any particular types of computers. You don't need any, particular service. If you've got an internet connection and you've got a web browser, you can get into your business. So there's no extra spend when you're looking at NetSuite with hardware and software and all that sort of stuff. It all just works. So your one license subscription, as long as you've got something that's going to get you on the internet, will get you into your business. Now, to log in there, Mandy, you can just log in over there. Yep. So it's important to know that. It's also important to know that we also have the ability there to give you all the security that's required. So there is, we use the same security as what the common banks do these days. So you've got all the security that you require to make sure you're safe and give you that confidence as well. So I can access NetSuite anytime, anywhere, on any device. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you can be sure, like I said, that NetSuite does all the security protecting you. So Mandy, now I see you've logged in your account there, and I've got up the top there, it says I'm a Nick Singh and I am an inventory manager there. So you can see when Mandy puts that up, there's a whole lot of roles. I don't want you guys to get confused by that. We've got those different roles up there because we're going to show you different parts of the system. When you log in or one of your workers logs in, they're only going to see one or possibly two different roles there. But those roles are really about the dashboard and the permission and the way you want them to interact with NetSuite. So on your dashboard there, I can see there's a few different things there. The first thing I've noticed there is reminders. Maybe you just want to walk me through some of those reminders.
Yeah, so reminders are a very powerful tool. Just it prompt you up to take actions when those actions are due. From an inventory manager's perspective, you can see that the reminders tells me that I've got 114 orders to fulfill. I've got 3 items to order, orders to receive, orders to pack. So those are all relating to my day-to-day inventory type of work.
So a sales guy goes out there, he sells an item, and he puts it through, and all of a sudden it's going to now hit the warehouse.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
So those orders to fulfill are basically coming from those sales orders that are coming through.
Yeah, that's right.
So as you know, as an inventory manager, I'm getting real-time view into my business. I'm knowing as soon as I create a sales order, that number will go from 114 to 115. So it's always live, and I know the orders I need to fulfill in there. So it's just a one-stop shop of looking at it. The other thing with reminders, I believe we can make them quite intelligent. So let's imagine I've got a business that's got multiple different, ABNs or I've got different places in different areas and so forth, different businesses and different area codes. If I just want my warehouse manager to see the orders for his warehouse, is it smart enough to do that?
Yeah, that's right. You can build the intelligence into there to only show the orders for that location or for that warehouse.
Right. So if I'm the boss and I want to see all the orders I need to see, I can see them all from the one spot as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. It's a good story just to know that depending on who you are and what you want to show, I can see either all of that information or just a part of that information. So also I can see that you've got some key performance indicators, which just look like metrics. So those types of metrics, do you just want to walk through what are in there?
Yeah, so those are the metrics that are important to me. So I put it on my dashboard. I can quickly see my inventory values. I can see how many orders, the sales, late and received orders by suppliers as well. So these metrics are all drillable as well. So those are not just the static figures. So if I want to see what's my inventory values, I can drill down into that, and it will take me to the detailed report, and I can see it by each individual item.
Right. So all the different things that you're showing me on your dashboard, they're all drilled through, and I can get right down to a transaction or a line level.
Yeah, that's right.
So importantly, if you go back to that dashboard there, so importantly on that dashboard, if I want to change the metric there, because I notice everything is mostly this month and last month, but you've got one there that's end of this month and end of last month, but they're all around monthly. If I want to change those and look at that from a different perspective and see what I was doing last year or so forth, can I do that as well?
Yeah, of course. So each user can set up their own dashboard to show whatever they want to see, and you can see it's very easy to configure it. So if you want to change the period, you just come here and change the period through here.
And there's just so many different periods you can choose.
Yeah, that's right.
So I guess probably put this in perspective. I'm working in the business. I'm an inventory manager there, and I want to see, am I holding more or less stock than what I was before? So if my orders, if I'm selling more and more every year, then really it'd be okay for my stock holding to be becoming larger as well. But if I'm selling less and my stock holding is staying the same, then there's probably an issue, and I can show you that. And I can see across the top there, you've got a whole bunch of charts that sort of show orders going up, sales going up, and inventory going up. That would make sense. But if you're in the business and you really want to know, hey, if something's wrong there, that will turn red, because if my sales was going up, obviously my orders are going up, inventory was going down, it would shift something red and be like, hey, you need to order more stock.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay, great. And so is there anything else I can see on the you've also got some shortcuts there, or maybe start from the ones at the top, which are probably the most common ones that people are going to use.
Yeah. Just give you some quick links, so you don't need to navigate around menus to find the page you always go. So it's just one click from your dashboard. So you can order items, you can do an inventory transfer, inventory adjustment, or create a new purchase order. Just one click from your dashboard.
So these are the things that people would go to commonly and quickly.
That's
so we're
right.
just trying to make it easy for them to find that information.
Yeah, that's right.
So the other thing with shortcuts, does the shortcut have to be something that's within NetSuite? Can I shortcut to a web page or shortcut to something else?
Yeah, you can, of course.
Yeah. Okay, great. So really the idea of the shortcuts there is to make it very easy for you to get to the information that you want to get to in one single spot. You'll also notice, just in summary on those 3 things on the dashboard that we've talked about, is that you can drill down. So those 114 orders that I need to fulfill, or the 3 items I need to order, if I want to look at those items I need to order, I can go straight to that page and I can see the items I need to order, and there they are there, and I can create purchase orders from that one spot. So it's really trying to make it very easy for you to get the right, in this case, the right stock that I need to order, because the system's suggesting this order, and we'll talk about how the system suggests that order in a minute, but you can see I can go in there and I can change that number of how many pieces that I want to order.
Yeah.
So probably the last thing that we'll talk about on that page would be the global search bar at the top there. That global search bar I hear is what some people call it like a Google search. Do you want to tell us a bit about the global search bar?
Yeah, it just allows you to search for almost everything. So you can search for a customer name, you can search for contact, you can search for a sales order number, you can search for item, whatever you're looking for, or you can just start typing in. So for example, if I'm looking for sales order number 121, then you can see I can bring that up, yeah, straight away from the dashboard.
Yeah, okay. So it makes it very easy to find. So what if it's a customer or something? If I want to find a customer name or an inventory item, anything like that, or I can do the same thing?
Yeah, that's right. You can.
So if we go into there and just like for instance, that customer supply ringing up, I can go straight into their dashboard and have a look at their customer dashboard. So, you know, I suppose I want you to picture, you get a phone call from a customer, they're ringing you up and you want to get a quick look at it. As fast as what Manny's just done that and brought that information up, you can see here that I can go straight in there and I can see their sales, I can see the forecast that they're looking at. You know, if I want to open up a report or if there was any returns or any unbilled orders, all this information I can find from the one spot. Probably importantly as well, if I want to look down a bit further, there's CRM transactions and all that sort of stuff as well. So you've got your transactions all here that if I want to find it, and any activities that I've done with this customer is all there in the one spot. So literally in 2 seconds, someone calls me up, I type in their name or type in a phone number or type something that relates to that company, and I can open up a dashboard and really find out what's going on with that company. Mandy, do you reckon we should start talking about inventory, since inventory is probably the thing that most of these guys want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me open up inventory item and then we can talk about the inventory.
Sounds good. So NetSuite's design and basic look and feel is really about getting you the right information at the right time, putting it on a dashboard so you don't really have to do too much navigation in and around that dashboard to find things. So it's really about making it very easy for you to get the information so you can make those decisions that you need to make. It's really handy having something that's accessible from a global search bar, which I can find, and it's really easy just to start moving around NetSuite. And it's hopefully you're seeing from this that it's quite intuitive and quite easy to use. I'm not a technical person at all, and I've been able to sort of get around NetSuite pretty quickly myself. So we're just looking at a typical inventory item here, which is called an outdoor dining chair. Probably just quickly on this, and I'll just say generically on this, Mandy, the form that you're seeing there is applicable to whatever you want to choose. So the information you want to have there on that form is up to you. So if you want to see things like the chair size, height, weight, you know, if you want to see how much it weighs, all that sort of information can be kept on this page. It's just about configuring that page for the information you want. You will notice there's also pictures. Those pictures can be put straight through onto a website, so making it very easy. As long as that picture's updated, it's real, your website pictures are going to be updated. The pricing in here all gets updated to your website as well. There's a connector between us and your website, or we can even design a website for you. You just talk to us and we can do that as well. So NetSuite can be a one-stop shop for the whole lot. So when I say we can design the website, it's a NetSuite website, so it's the one solution. So if you just want to scroll down a little bit, Mandy, and let's talk about sort of the replenishment methods, because I think that's really important. If you just want to, actually, I'll probably walk us through. So some of that replenishment stuff there you can see. We've got a lot of things that are ticked. So my preferred stock level, or you know, the reorder points and the lead time and so forth. So NetSuite has a lot of intelligence, and what it can do is you can say, I want to hold 10 days worth of stock. So my understanding, Mandy, is what it will do is look at your last 12 months history and go, based on that history, you sell roughly 15 of these widgets a month. And then it will stock you to keep that 15 supplied. So if you want to then go, but hold on, in June, because we have big sales, we tend to spike, and in July we tend to sort of lull. That's okay as well. You can add, you can see Mandy's just added the seasonal, highlighted that seasonal demand button. If you click that, it will really bump up your stock in those months where you sell it, and it will reduce the amount of stock on hand when you're actually in the slower months of the year. So if you have a seasonal business with furniture, you can add that seasonality. So it's not just going 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15. It's actually going 27, 4, 4, 13 in the different months, and actually looking at your history to make sure you've got the right amount of stock, which will free up your cash so you've got more cash to do other things with, because it's all about cash flow. The other thing it does is also knows your lead time. So a lot of people are getting furniture from China and different places, or Indonesia we've dealt with, and it might take 2-3 months or even longer to get this stock. But NetSuite will know how long it is because you're raising the purchase order in NetSuite and you're receiving the items in NetSuite. So let's say the last 3 times you've received a good and it's taken 3 months to get it, it knows it needs to order that item 3 months earlier to make sure it's here at the right time. So NetSuite takes all the guesswork out of this for you. And if you remember when we looked at that inventory item order page that we looked at before, you could still vet that order. So if you think that you're gonna, that the order that's put in there is a little too much, then you can still go in there and change that order. So Mandy's just showing you here, like this is that page we were looking at earlier. So I can still come in here and I can still change that order. So if I don't want to store 100, I can just put in 200 because I'm going to order more. Probably gives me another thing, Mandy. If I think that I'm going to do some marketing and I just want to bump up my order by 10% or 20%, I can do that as well.
Yeah.
Great.
That's right.
So let's just go back to that inventory item page. Yep. And let's talk a little bit. Let's just keep moving down a bit for me. And let's talk about the warehousing. So a lot of companies have multiple warehouses and some don't, but some companies are forgetting the fact that they might have a warehouse and they might have a showroom. So is that chair in the warehouse or is that chair in the showroom? So with NetSuite, what we can do is create as many locations as you wish. So, and they can also be virtual locations. They don't have to be real. So if you get that order, someone comes in, Mandy comes in with a pile of cash that she's got in her pocket and says, I want 10,000 sofas. You don't want that to affect your ongoing order. You can create a virtual location and exclude that from your ordering practices. So it won't just, mess up your ongoing stock ordering for that item ongoing. So I've got multiple locations there, Mandy. That could also be a warehouse and my showroom, correct? So
Yeah,
if I need to find that chair, I know where to look. Great. What other sort of information have they got on that report there?
On that report, it basically just allows you to see for each of the location what's the quantity available, the quantity committed to your existing sales orders, quantity on back order or in transfers as well.
Great. So I can transfer stock quickly and easily between one location and another?
Yeah, that's right.
That's great. So if you have got a whole bunch of shops, let's say in Sydney or Melbourne or something like that, and you just want to be able to transfer stock from one location to the other, you can do that very easily with us as well. Now just scroll back up and we'll talk about the pricing side of things. So we do have a full pricing matrix. So you can see here that on the left-hand side, Mandy's got all these different line items, which are basically different price levels. So you can have as many price levels as you want. So if you're dealing with, a major customer who's buying a lot of stuff off you and you want to give them a discount, you can do that by, setting that customer up with a certain discount level. And then across the top, you've got quantity breaks. So if you need quantity breaks and things like that, if they buy more and more, you can also apply discounts there as well. Probably importantly to see there, Mandy, how many different currencies do we deal with? Do you know?
190.
190 currencies that we deal with. So, and we use a foreign exchange converter. We use Morningstar foreign currency conversions, which is all standard in the system, by the way. It's no extra licensing. So if you want to sell and you've got websites in different countries or you're selling in New Zealand, you can set up NetSuite and it will be ready for you to use with all that information. So really, really handy if you have got a business that spans out more than Australia. But alternatively, if you're buying in foreign currency as well, we can deal with that, and there's no extra cost to you to be able to buy stock in foreign currency, and it will convert it all into Australian dollars for you. And so that works perfectly too. So on that, just scroll back up to your different line items across the top. Yep. So related records. Do you want to tell us a bit about related records?
Yeah, sure. So related records really allows you to see all the related transactions for this individual item. So any transactions relating to it, such as purchase orders, sales orders, inventory adjustment. You can see these are all can be found from this one tab, and you can filter down to see a particular transaction type if you want. So you can just look at the sales orders if you just want to see the sales orders, but it just gives you a list view and also allows you to drill down easily to those transactions if you like.
Okay, excellent. So it's a really easy place. If someone comes in and says, hey, I bought one of these last month, I could come in here, I could look at the sales from this from last month and just bring it up, any related transaction for that. That's excellent. Okay, and just roll up. So what else do you think we should talk about on this page, Mandy? Maybe the communication, talk about files and so forth.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this part here you can start attaching. So if your furniture comes with instructions on how to build it, or anything at all, like maybe you're also selling cleaning products to clean the furniture and you need MSDS sheets or whatever else, Every record in the system allows you can have files and you can attach different documents on that. So if you want to attach the ability to be able to put that together in each one of these items that you're selling, you can have all the instructions from there. So if someone rings up and says, hey, I've lost my instructions to put together my chair, you can just ask them what chair they bought or find it using related transactions and then send them out that information. So once again, think about your customers and how much easier it is we're making is to find things for your customers. All right, so I reckon now maybe we talk about the customer record, and when we bring up a customer and we talk about how, one, we set up their price level, because we talked about all those different price levels before, and that's good to have. But I think with a customer point of view, we need to look at what sort of how we set that customer up to have the right information there. So when I create a sales order form, the right stuff's there.
Yeah, sure.
So this is the dashboard for the customer. I just want to switch to the form view of this.
Yep, sure.
Yep, great. So this is just a standard customer record, and your customer record here will allow you to have whatever information, once again, that you want on that particular customer record. And it's once again, it's a form, so you can have as many different layers as you need on that form. I just want to scroll down on the customer record for a second. Yeah, great. And okay, so probably the first thing we'll talk about is CRM. Actually, no, we'll talk about pricing because that's where we're going before. So let's not just go to the financial tab for me. Yep. Now, when we're talking about pricing, before we had all those different price levels, you'll notice that when I set a customer up, I can set them up with a price level. So that's one point, right? So, but imagine that you've got a customer that buys chairs off you, but doesn't buy anything else. So they own a cafe and they buy this one chair and this one desk. Maybe you want to set them up with some contract pricing. So I can go down the bottom here and I can set up item pricing for this. So every time they buy a particular item, they're going to buy it for that unit price. Or I can change the price level that I want to do. So I could also put a different price level in there for it. So I can now set up a contract pricing. Everything else they're going to do is just going to get at normal retail pricing, but every time they buy that chair, it's going to be at the custom price I've put there, which in this case is $30. Or they might just buy, a group of items. So maybe they just buy tableware or tables off you guys. So if I want to set up tables and they get a certain price level on just tables, I can set that up too, so that every time they buy a table, they get, a different price level discount. So it makes it really easy to really start managing and making sure that your customers are getting the price levels that you agree to. And it also gives you the ability to create contract pricing with the customer so that they know and you know that this is what's going to happen. And you can put alerts around this, then maybe review every year or something like that. So it'll pop up to say, hey, you need to look at this or review it, so that you will always know and be in front of the ball instead of, working from behind and going, oh gosh, I'm losing money on this chair now. You can go back in time to change it.
Yep.
So that's how you set up all your different pricing levels for the customer. I think one of the other things that people often talk about with our customers is that CRM aspect. And NetSuite comes with a full CRM solution. So you are able to follow up your customers. You're able to, anything that goes out can be automated for your customers as well. So it's really handy. So we'll just go to that communications tab there. Now, the first thing that you can look at there is this messages tab that Mandy's on now, and you'll see that based on an event, I think that's how these got there. Is that right? So, so if you just want to walk through this, Mandy, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. So that's just some automated email I set up in the system. So anytime I fulfill an order, I enter an order for the customer, an automated email will be sent to them confirming the order and update the status for them. So the email will be sending out through NetSuite itself, but it comes with a special tag on it. So any reply will be captured in here as well. So anyone have access to this customer will have a complete overview of all the communication that have ever happened with this customer.
So what if they pay an invoice or something online? I know we have payment gateways and so forth with NetSuite. So if someone pays their invoice online with the same...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the same automated email can be sent out as well.
So based on any event, I can have something going out there and it could happen at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
So if, honestly, if I'm a business owner and someone goes in there and pays for a bill at a time that I'm not working, it's really nice to know that I can be sending them information saying, hey, thanks for that, and so forth. So they create an order, I can say thank you. What if we, pick packing and shipping? So I shipped an item that gets sent out. Well, that's a fulfillment, I suppose. Yeah. So any of those events can lead to an email back to the customer. All right. So what about the activities tab? What's the difference with activities? The activities from memory are require some sort of human intervention. Is
Yeah,
that?
that's right. So anytime you've made a phone call, you've scheduled a meeting, you've set up a task to follow up, those can all be captured here. So you just come to the system, you after each of the event, you can log the event, or if it's for future, you can also schedule one in for the future, and then you get reminded of doing that when it's due.
So this is more, I guess, standard CRM stuff here. Like, so this is more, I ring somebody, now what if I want someone else to call that person?
Yeah, it's the same. So you can assign the task to someone else.
And do we have any integration between ourselves and say, well, the common things that most people I know use are like the Outlook suite or the Google suite? Do we have integration to those?
Yeah, sure. There are connectors available, and where you can link to Outlook or G Suite, and can synchronize the emails and the calendars as well.
Great. So just as far as CRM goes, when you're dealing with your customers, you probably just need to know that NetSuite will have you covered. We can automate emails out to customers based on events in the system. So if you think of something that you want an email to go out to a customer, let's say it's just they've got an invoice overdue, or just before it gets overdue, we can be sending out emails to the customers that way. They pay a bill, we can send out emails. You guys need to contact customers in the future. We can put all that information into NetSuite as well, so that makes that easy to find too. Once again, you can add files. I can see you've got some files added on this particular lead this time. So if I want to add a file to a custom record, because remember every record I can add files. So in this case, for a customer, you might have their account limits, right? So they've got a $5,000 account that might be in there. I'm not even sure what that one is, but it doesn't matter what it is. You can add whatever you want to this information. So this information will hold anything you need. It can be videos and stuff as well, by the way. So all that sort of stuff is done as far as the CRM is going. And then we can also hook up to your G Suite or to your Outlook, so you've got full automation and you'll know exactly when things are supposed to happen. So if I'm walking down the street and I've got my phone with me and it reminds me to tell me I need to call Larry from a furniture place in China, I've got that information with me, whether I'm using NetSuite or not.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so probably what do you think? Is there anything else that we should really go into before?
I think we covered the majority of the things.
Sure. What I might do now is open it up for any questions, and we'll see if anyone comes through with any questions. But otherwise, we'd love to hear from you again. We've got a great solution for you guys. We'll go from there. And I do have a couple of questions here. Inside Imagery, is there any information, barcode tracking, all level SKU box carton? Yes, there is. So yes, we can do all of those things. So you can put SKUs on things and we can track them for you as well. And all that information be kept inside the inventory item, yes. And how does NetSuite handle SKU and UOM?
Units of measure.
Units of measure, yep. So basically we can do different units of measure for different items. A dining table and 6 chairs, 1 set, yep. So I don't know, we didn't probably really talk about kit items, which is probably good, but yeah, we do kits, which is sort of that dining room table and chairs. And that's probably one of the things that a lot of our customers do have or had issues with is kits and assembly items. So an assembly item might be a bed, which requires a bit of labor or so forth to put together, and a kit item just might be a chair and a table, and you call it a set.
And you can still sell them individually if you like.
Yeah, and you can, exactly right. So you can still sell all those individually as well. So we do kits and assemblies, and we do group items as well. And then obviously, if you're actually we've got a couple of customers who make some things as well. If you require a work order to put all this stuff together, we can also handle the work order and the assembly part too. But the person that's asked that question, please give us a call and we can get together and we can walk through how that actually works. But Mandy's kind of showing you now where you can put your different components and so forth together for an assembly item in this case. And you can see the big frame, the bed legs, the bed headboard and so forth. But by all means, get in contact with us and we can answer those questions for you. That's the only 2 questions I've got so far. I might just give it another 30 seconds and see if there's any more questions and we'll go from there. But guys, I really want to appreciate you coming. I might just, man, if you just want to stop sharing and I'll just share my screen again. If I can, that is. So thanks for attending. There doesn't seem to be any more, but here's our contact information. Please get in touch with us. info@jcurve.com.au. I've got a 1-800 number up there as well. And we do have, we are also in Asia for any Asian customers that we've got in Southeast Asia. So we've got our headquarters in Singapore as well. So if there's anything you need from us, let us know. But thank you for attending, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.